A whopping 51 racers took the green flag in Okayama. All of them saw Sonny Kanji lead from wire to wire, but having to withstand immense pressure throughout. Both Louis-Philippe Calderon and Robert Hartley tried their best to take away the victory, but Sonny Kanji stood atop the podium at the end. The little MX-5 and its drivers showed that they belong in the world of racing, and thus, after a jump over the pond, we take it to the hills of Lamrock Park. Can our defending champion strike back? Can Sonny Kanji make it 2 for 2? Will Calderon step it up, or can someone else surprise everyone and jump on the top step of the podium? One thing is set in stone: you won't miss any of the action of Big C's MX-5 Challenge Season 2 here on the Global SimRacing channel. With that, we welcome you all in from the beautiful state of Connecticut to the GTR countdown to green. Over the next few minutes, we'll bring you all the storylines, stats and facts you'll need to be up to date with Big C's MX-5 Challenge. As the name already suggests, this segment is sponsored by GTR Racing Simulators, which are currently used as training aids for professional race car drivers. But you too can learn to ace that braking, sharpen those corners and shave off those vital seconds. Whether you're a professional driver or a gamer looking for a more immersive way to play, GTR has your back. Get started today at www.gtrsimulator.com. The crew to give you all the stats and storylines today will be Chris Fobby, joining myself, Stefan Schlach. Turning the knobs and pushing the buttons behind the scenes is our director Sean Rackers Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by the great Dudley Beard. Chris, yet again we see a free track lay before us. However, Lamrock Park feels more like an inverted oval than a normal road course. What can you tell us about today's venue?
Well, Stefan, to start off, a pretty small track here, just 1.5 miles in length, 2.5 kilometers. We have 7 turns, mostly right-hand turns of this track, located in Connecticut. Lamrock Park is a very challenging circuit. It was built back in 1957 and one of the oldest continually operating road courses in the U.S. Skip Barber is the one that holds the deed on the property. And this is a track that is deceptively challenging. It features numerous elevation changes, there's many off-camber corners, and you go through many portions of this track where you come into the corner blind. But it's also a momentum-based track, and it's very easy to throw away a lap with one small error. Now we'll throw things down to Joe Peak as he gives us a lap that hopefully doesn't lose any momentum as he gives us our guide around Lamrock Park.
Alright, we're in the GSRC MX-5, so let's do a lap around Lamrock Park. Down in a big bend, this is usually your best and only place to try and pass on the track. You'll take it into this first apex pretty fast, let it bleed off speed as you drift out in the middle of the corner, and then bring it back in tight for the exit. Switch sides quickly because the left-hander comes up fast. There'll be a temptation to turn in too early, but this corner needs a very late apex with it leading into the S's. You might need a hair of a lift through the kink of turn 4 just in case you catch the inside curve, but in the best case scenario, you're flat out. The no-name straight is going to weave back and forth slightly, so straighten it out. Then brush the brakes into the uphill. Be sure to keep the wheel straight as you come over the crest, or else the car will want to come out from under you. Hold to the left side of the track and give it a small lift into West Bend. Watch out for the inside curve because it can unsettle the car and there's not much runoff on either side. Plunging down into diving turn, breathe off the throttle and tuck it right into the groove. If you got it right, you'll be back to full power to give you the best run onto the front stretch once again. And with that, you've now finished a lap around Lamrock Park.
And that was Joe Peak showing you how to successfully master a lap around the tricky Lamrock Park circuit. But now for the very first time this season, let us take you a lap around the championship standings. Sonny Kanji won last race, so he is obviously leading those championships ahead of Robert Hartley with 23 points to his name. Louis-Philippe Calderon, 3rd place, 20 points to his name. Jaume Damasis Torres, 17 points, and Andreas Katz with 15 points down in 5th place. So top 5 separated by 15 points in total. And Chris, we still have fairly new series here on our hands. So how are we looking at the race details today?
Well, Stefan, this is the second of 10 rounds on the series. Second week we're running this season. 40-minute race length with 1 pit stop required. It is a fixed baseline setup. There is no incident cap. The top 15 will score points in the series, and once again, we still have 2 fast repairs available for the drivers, which could come in handy on such a tight and challenging track.
Right, it surely is gonna be interesting, and have to apologize, there are some technical difficulties with the championship standings, but we gave you hopefully a very good rundown there vocally of the point situation. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, let's bring them back up so you can see it one more time here. The championship standings. As said, Sonny Kenshin is leading that with his win from last week ahead of Robert Hartley and Luis Felipe Calderon. There we go, the Colombian driver in 3rd place, 10 points behind Jaume Damases Torres from Portugal, 13 points behind, and as said, the German driver of Adjers Cuts, 15 points behind Sonny Kenshin out of Australia. And in the background you can already see it, the qualifying is going on for about 6 minutes already, so quite a few times are already put in. And right now at the top we see Maxime Boonvich with a 56.5.
So it looks like Sonny Kenshin may be on a clipper of a lap as he tours Lime Rock here. We'll take you alongside him.
Where even is he? There he is. He's sitting in 5th place right now. Wasn't able to find him there because he is, for his standards, quite a ways down. But coming through the diving turn right now, turn 7. Have to be careful not to take too much curb there because you can give an off track. Sonny Kenshin seems like on a very slow lap. Yes, indeed, a 104.8. So not probably an outlap as he spins it now in turn 1. So really not a good start for the qualifying for Sonny Kenshin.
Yeah, strange to see such a top level driver in this series struggle as he has so far this afternoon.
Right now on board with the yellow car of Jaume Damases Torres, who is once again coming around the diving turn. One of the fastest lap times we're gonna see all season long because of the short nature of this track, only 56 seconds there or thereabouts. Seems like that didn't count for Jaume though, so he still sits in 3rd place with a 56.737. And one thing we have to talk about today, it's tires, Chris. How important are tires going to be here at Lime Rock Park?
You know, I think we may see kind of a split decision amongst the drivers. I know 40 minutes in general is tough on those tires, but with all the predominantly right-hand turns of this track, it's going to be rough on those tires. So we'll see. Maybe some guys might try to eke it out and run the whole race on one set, and might see some guys try it. See if it adds enough in the pits.
Well, it surely is gonna be interesting to witness what is gonna happen as we are having our cameras focused now on Ioannis Mumloudis, who is also now driving through the diving turn. One of the most appropriately named corners ever. Coming over the start-finish line of the Sam Hosey straight. And also a slow lap for him there, 103.6. Carter Cunninger there has to avoid a car spinning, so that's also not going to be a fast lap there for him. We're having a bit of an unlucky day right now with focusing our cameras here. As Steven van Opstal now going through, I think that's turn 3 if I saw it right.
He's going to be looking to pick up as much time as he can here, as he's looking to grid 22nd as they run right now.
Yeah, not really where you would expect someone like Steven van Opstal, but if it's gonna happen in a series, it's surely gonna be this one, because right now we're having a 44 drivers sign up for this. So even though he's 22nd, it's only halfway through the field. We had a change at the top of the standings. You probably saw it. Robert Hartley jumped up to the lead here, or to the pole position with a 56.439, nearly, or well over a tenth actually ahead of Maxime Boonvich in second.
You know, given how close the times were this time last week, it's crazy to think that we have somebody with a whole over a tenth of an advantage over the rest of the field.
Yeah, exactly. At the top, it is a bit more spread, but we still have about 30 drivers within a second. As Maxime Boonvich comes around through turn 7 one more time, let's see what he can do. He is actually opting into pit lane, one of the most trickiest pit entries here that Lime Rock Park has. Christian Lindroth, he's now also coming through turn 7. Big bump on the inside, seems like he's also not gonna finish this lap, decides to dive into the pit lane. Jay Büge did run around his outside there. Did he improve? No, he stands on a 57.8 last lap, a second slower than his fastest lap. As George Feig now on board with him. Seems like that one was slow for him too, so no improvement will be done by him. Clifford Evans stuck behind Nico Arvilomi here. Clifford Evans sitting in 9th position. The guy had Nico in 22nd. So if he runs up too close, he will probably get held up. Let's see how he manages to do turn 5 here. It's probably gonna be one of the biggest danger points on this track, Chris.
Yeah, that's a tricky corner, and it looks like Eben may have lost some speed going through there trying to check up for the car in front of him.
And sure as hell, he did get held up there, and also an off track for him. So no time at that lap around. Let's see what Maxime Boonvich coming across the line to start his fast lap. Probably will be the last one for him. Yes. Catching across the line, but once again, no, actually he did improve. He did improve by about 2/10, putting him up into P3.
After the race he had last week, it's going to be awfully weird for Sonny to start with cars in front of him.
Well, those cars though will not be anyone he doesn't know, because Robert Hartley, he was fighting against Sonny Kenshin for half of the race last week around at Okayama. The other car that was fighting with him all the time, that was Xiaomi Damasus Torres. He's sitting in 5th place right now, just a 10th behind Sonny Kenshin himself. As he crosses the line with a 56.651, faster than his personal lap so far, but not fast enough to get passed by Sonny Kenshin, sitting in P4. As we go we're having our cameras on him, Antonio Leish, Nespereiro Leish, coming around turn 7 and now under the Lime Rock Park Bridge. What will he be able to do with this lap? He's sitting in 7th position right now with a 56.772 as the 2 cars ahead of him pull over to the right side. And that one didn't count, so he had an off track somewhere in that lap.
I noticed he used up quite a bit of curb there on a couple of those last corners, so could possibly be where he got the off track.
Torres was the first car off the top 4 to still be able to put in a lap, but this one was not faster for him. And it seems like most of the drivers are already back into the pit lane. As Nico Orvidlomi is still on the track. They're coming around turn 7. Let's see what he's able to put in. He's sitting in 23rd right now with a 57.155 and does not improve. Actually, Torres is still on a fast lap. Let's see if he finishes that. Never mind, time is up. And with that, we're already going over to the SimRacing Studio starting grid. Brought to you by SimRacing Studio. Want to enhance your SimRacing experience but don't feel like spending hours doing it? SimRacing Studio creates plug-and-race SimRacing accessoire software to enhance your experience without any DIY effort. Go to www.simracingstudio.com for more information. And your SimRacing Studio starting grid is led by Robert Hartley ahead of Maxime Boonfish, Sonny Kenshin rounding out your top 3, just about a 10th between them. Xiaomi Damascus Torres trying to do a last lap effort, not able to do so because time was up. Anthony Burrows in 5th place, Andreas Katz 6th, Antonio Nespereira Leish in 7th, John Watson in 8th, Clifford Eben, the organizer of this league, in 9th place, and Ioannis Mumuludis rounding out your top 10.
Alright, we head outside of the top 10 with Steven Van Opstel in the 11th position, with Christian Lindroth next up on track. Mark Brightman will start in lucky number 13 with Rui Coimbra next up in line in the 78 car. Carter Kundiger in 15th with Graham Sanders 16th. Then Nick Carty, George Fike, Ashley Beard, and Tom Athen round out your top 20.
David Hampson on the blackjack position. Alongside him will be Stefan Revel. Nico Arvilomi in 23rd, Carter Hampton 24th, Stefan York in 25th, Simon Epperling in 26th, Alaric Van den Bos 27th, Adam Mariak in 28th, Peter Vostrel in 29th, and Paulo Coimbra rounding out your top 30.
As we head outside of the top 30, it's Richard Schaffner in the 31st position. Casey Drake starts 32nd. The double threes go to Daniel Penola with Jared Daniels in the 34th position. Alex Hunt next in line, followed by Michael Woodman.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you there already because we're green flag already, and off we go, the starting grid there. Sorry, we didn't get everything in there, but Robert Hartley leading away into turn 1 ahead of Maxime Boonvish, and Anthony Burrows trying to overtake Andreas Katz for 5th position.
Those crazy starts get me every time.
Yeah, with such a long starting grid, we're just not able to get everything in. Sorry for that. But you saw your starting grid run across the screen, hopefully.
I tell you what, I was listening in on the little pep talk that the series director Clifford Eben gives to the teams in this series before the race even starts, and I'm all fired up.
Yeah, he really does put some fire, some sauce into his speech there to get everyone fired up. Already a little bit of a gap there between the top 2 and Sonny Kenshin. Very interesting development as Andreas Katz is trying to challenge Anthony Burrows for 5th place. Let's see if he does succeed. Into the inside he goes. Andreas Katz stays with it, and Anthony Burrows loses 2 positions in just 1 turn as Antonio Nespereira Leish goes also to the inside and overtakes him for P6. At the top though, Maxime Boonvich really creeping into the exhaust pipe of Robert Hartley, your defending champion of this series. Let's see how they take turn 5. Both very nicely. Maxime Boonvich with a little bit of a sideways action there though. And now Robert Hartley quite loose there, goes way wide. Is Boonvish able to do anything with that? No, he cannot, as turn 7 quickly approaches them.
Yeah, those top 3 cars on a bit of a breakaway is now Kenshin looks to the inside of Bunovic for the position, ducks back in line. But now he's going to peek to the inside once again.
Sonny Kenshin with an interesting line, this choice there. Down the Sam Posey straight. Probably trying to make Maxime or push him into a little bit of a mistake. They're not succeeding though, as now Kanchan is under pressure. Oh! Who is that? Carter Cunninger into the wall there in front of our leaders. That was already a lapped car. Interesting to see one that early.
There must have been an incident a little further down the line that we didn't quite catch, because we already have 4 cars 1 lap down.
It seems like there was a little bit of an incident at the start as Maxime Boonvish tried to challenge once again into turn 1, not succeeding yet again.
You know, Stefan, we talked about how the qualifying times weren't quite as spectacularly close as we saw a week ago, but these drivers are not leaving anything to disappointment in the race. I mean, we still have, what, our top 5-6 cars right there in the one screen together.
Yeah, exactly, and actually, let's see, that is a breakaway of the top 8 people right now. Breaking away from everyone else. And Boonvich still trying to get closer and maybe get a run on Robert Harley as he jumps onto the curb. That's not something you want to really do here, because it's quite high and bumpy.
You know, everyone talks about this being really a momentum track, and it's so easy to throw away a lap by just getting a little bit off your game. And the way these guys are right on each other's bumper, you got to believe there's a bit of gamesmanship going on here, trying to force an error and open up the door.
And another battle pack that we have here is for P9. That's the one right behind. We're currently focusing our cameras on Steven van Opstal, the yellow car there. And Christian Lindroth is leading this battle up to turn 5, right in front of Graham Sanders.
Yeah, we did mention earlier, this is a pretty narrow track, and you can see some of these cars are already showing some battle scars. It looked like the 15 of Steven van Opstal is already missing a headlight.
Yeah, it's quite easy to do stuff as up ahead. Actually, yeah, up ahead there was Anthony Burris being overtaken by Ioannis Moumoulidis. You saw it on your screen actually. As they start to drop a little bit away from the 6 guys ahead of them. And Moumoulidis is really trying to stay with the top 6, but he's just not able to do so. Dropping already little by little back. He is faster than Burrows, but not fast enough to stay with the top 6. Let's see, in behind Sanders is creeping in, but not much closer than Burrows is to Moumoulidis. Seems like that George Fike had a problem. He's in the pits. That was out of the ever so deadly turn 7.
So you can see what's riding along with Fike right now. Oh, looks like he just got a little bit too wide, maybe fumbled trying to get into the pit area.
It seems a bit weird, but I think he was just too wide and then got caught off by the low grip of the grass there, spinning to the inside.
Well, you called it, Stefan, that was going to be Calamity Corner for us today, and so far that's held true.
Well, to be honest, I thought it's going to be much more a case of turn 5, because of how fast that one is, of how it is shaped, because it is pretty much every car is gonna get a little bit of an air there. As once again P9 Graham Sanders is getting closer to the back of Christian Lindroth. Going up turn 5 now. A little bit of an air there. The 4 cars back to Stephen van Opstal are dropping the next 3. So Stephen van Opstal no pressure in behind him. So all he can do is focus up front. Graham Sanders is getting closer to the back. Will it be enough for turn 1? No, he decides to lift off the throttle and stay behind Christian Lindroth for one more time.
He's not letting him get very far away, though. Lindroth definitely has a bumper full that he's dealing.
And one more battle group that we have, or one of the many battle groups we have, that's for P16 here. Nico Arvilomi right ahead of Stefan Gravel, and his car is looking a little bit bent up on his left front side, so maybe he already had an encounter with the wall out of turn 5.
Yeah, definitely that fender and hood all jacked up on that car.
Back up to the top, though, that is Andreas Katz versus Jaime Damasis Torres for P4.
That's towards the back of that lead pack we have, actually more towards the middle. Katz is right there glued to the bumper on Torres, but so far Torres staying in lockstep and not sweating him.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting to see that Sonny Kenshin, I don't know if that is by choice or not by choice, but he is always having a little bit of a gap that grows and gets smaller every now and then, up to the top 2 of Robert Hartley and Maxime Bundisch. But let us take you back in behind them again. That is between Anthony Burrows and Ioannis Moumoulidis. They are still getting caught by Christian Lindroth as they make a little bit of a contact there between turns 1 and 2. Seemed like ever so slightly a net code between the two. No damage to either car, so they happily continue.
Well, Moumoulidis definitely keeping him honest, as he's filling up the mirrors there on the car in front of him. Oh, he goes to the outside, or it'll be the outside this corner. He completes the pass before they get to the apex of the turn, so give the position to Moumoulidis as he slots into P7 now.
Burrows with a very lucky break there, losing the car ever so slightly to the inside, able to save it but lose the position to Ioannis Moumoulidis as you saw on screen. This, however, gives the run to Christian Lindroth, who is really on the back now of the 2 ahead of him. Speaking about being on the back, that also is Graham Sanders on Christian Lindroth as the lap car of Alex Hunt probably had a problem in turn 1, lets them all by, driving around the grass there to not impede any of the laps of these guys, fighting it out for P7 now.
Well, we're going to hop on board with Graham Sanders here, as you can see, the 100 car.
Oh, and I'm sorry, but Maxime Bundisch did overtake Sonny Kenshin into turn 1 last time around. Or maybe it was already earlier.
Well, Kenshin's going to peek to the outside into the first turn.
Actually, I got myself tripped up there because Sonny Kenshin isn't leading the race. It's actually Robert Hartley who has a lapped car of Jack Mars between him and Maxime Bundisch.
You know, surprisingly, Stefan, in both of these races we've had for the Big C's MX-5 Challenge, really lapped cars haven't played a significant role, which with the big fields we've had, it's kind of unexpected, especially on such a narrow track as we've seen today. But I guess we do still have just under half an hour left to run.
I mean, we are still quite early and we're already having some lap traffic. We're only in lap 13, 14 and a half minutes thereabouts into racing. So it still is a little bit early for any traffic to occur. It for sure did split up this battle for first though, and it's gonna be interesting to see now if Maxime is able to close in on Robert Hartley or not.
We're going to jump back a little more towards the back of the points pane positions here as we head towards P15. And it's just a hornet's nest right now.
I think the whole track is a hornet's nest by this point. This one is, as you can see, between Rui Coimbra and Stefan Gravel there. Right behind them, that's Ashley Beard and Adam Mariak. Seems like Nico Arvelomi ahead of them was able to get a bit of a grab there between him and Rui. As we're on board with Stefan Gravel looking back at Ashley Beard. Let's see if Gravel is able to take a run on Coimbra through turn 7. Not at all, because that was an awesome turn by Rui. Oh, and we are having here quite a hornet's nest yet again, because lap traffic is playing into this battle. Anthony Burrows lost a lot of positions there because he got held up by Jack Myers. Right ahead of him, that's Mark Brightman in 11th place. But Graham Sanders and Christian Lindroth are fighting through this and go up to turn 5 as everything starts to play out yet again.
Well, that'll teach me to talk about how easy they've had their hands with the lapped cars, huh?
Sure as hell does seem so, as in behind them, Jack Myers and Jay Brugge come together. 2 lapped cars on way different laps. And there's a car spun around on the start-finish straight. That's actually Antonio Nespedo Laish from 6th place. What happened to him? I actually do not know, because he started to brake. I think he had a hardware malfunction there.
So we're going to take a look back at what exactly happened to Lage as he spins out of, what, 6th position?
Yeah, this is interesting. I think he had a hardware failure because he started to brake, but it was more of a stutter brake until he completely spun it out. Let's see. Let's see how that one is gonna play out. There we go. And there you can see he pulls over to the right side. That's already where he's starting to stutter brake. And he's gonna spin it out in just a moment here. There you can see he's already on the brake and then boop. It's a very interesting hardware failure from him there. Probably his wheel did reset there or something like that. But that is going to give a position to everyone behind him, as we have a look yet again at the battle between Xiaomi Damasis Torres, Sonny Kenshin and Andreas Kunz for P3 overall.
Yeah, Torres going to have his hands full here in a second with Katz, if Katz can get a run down into the corner here. But it looks like, of course, as soon as I mentioned that possibility, they all decide to maintain their distance. The old announcer's curse.
We can report the battle for P1 is on again, as Stefan Gravel did hold up Robert Hartley. So something else happened to Gravel, because he's all of a sudden down in 24th. Now a lap down, but this really helped Maxime Boonvish, as he's now once again back on the back of Robert Hartley.
Well, getting reports that cars are starting to duck into pit road now. There is one required pit stop over the 40 minutes. So, looks like we got some cars hitting pit road here. It looks, Stefan, like this is primarily guys towards the back of the points pane positions that are coming in now. Do you think they're trying to possibly get their tires early and get a jump on the guys up front that still have to pit?
Might as well be, but I don't really see the point in undercutting someone here, because you're gonna get right into the thick of traffic / beat the traffic yourself and have to slow down for the others. Talking about slowing down for the others, Kamina Torres makes his way yet again around some traffic. That was Stefan Gravel, but he actually got closer to Sonny Kenshin than he was before. As we're gonna go back yet again to the interesting battle that was between Simon Eppelding and Ashley Beard. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on the way wrong battle there. But I was right with Ashley Beard at least. It's between Adam Mariak and Ashley Beard. My timing was screwed up there a little bit by the guys pitting. Sorry about that. But those two are going through turn 7 now. Does anyone decide to pit? Nope, both stay out. So once again, they go around to turn 1.
Alright, so Stefan, you're one of those guys that's sitting up in the top 3. With pit stops coming up, what's your game plan?
It is a bit interesting because you have the traffic. It's not a thick traffic, it's droplets of traffic. So normally I would pit in, but that would probably put me where the rest of the traffic is. So at this point I would just run it out as far as I can, or there depending on the tires, and then on the pit stop get myself some tires and try to do something with those new tires.
Well, it looks like Hartley's coming up on more lap traffic here up front, so we could see that be playing a role here shortly.
Yeah, and they hopefully should be nice to them as they're not fighting for position, but we're going to jump you back to the battle for P7. That's between Graham Sanders, Christian Lindroth, and Mark Brightman. Two orange cars and a white one. Graham Sanders leading the pack. Just ahead of them, that is Ionis Mumuludis, so he was able to link himself out of that battle. Let's see what they can do through turn 7. Graham Sanders has to get a good one, otherwise he is gonna run into some problems. Into turn 1, that's actually way wide there, but was able to keep up the momentum, so he's not gonna be challenged. But Mark Brightman is closing in on the back of Christian Lindroth. Lifts and stays in behind.
Battle for P4 right now is Andreas Katz searching around the track here, trying to find a way around Torres.
Yeah,
Torres.
Go ahead.
Torres using every bit of tarmac to make sure that he stays ahead. So far, it's working out for him as he slips off into the grass just a little bit.
Sonny Kenshin just got held up a little bit ahead of them. So Torres is going to close in on Sonny Kenshin ever so slightly. Nico Arvilomi not really playing all that nice with the leaders so far. As now Torres gets held up by Nico Arvilomi here. Have to apologize a little bit for jumping you around this much, but we're trying to cover all the battles here and they are plentiful.
You gotta wonder if maybe Arvilomi's trying to hold up the lead cars. I mean, like, he knows he's gonna give up the lap, but maybe he's trying to hold them up to maybe slow them down a bit to maybe see if they can keep in touch with them when the pit stops come up.
I don't know. I think it's much more a question of Stefan Gravel being behind him. Maybe that was a strategy to not get held up himself all that much, as the leaders are now going to run up to an actual battle on track that is between Anthony Burrows and Shabals Brem. That is for 20th overall. There you can see it, the white and yellow car behind him. That is Robert Hartley, your current leader. So he will have to find a quick way around both of them. Might have an opportunity now. Down the no-name straight. Yes, he does. Goes to the inside. Will Maxime do that too? Yes, he will. Will he be able to stay on track? Yes, he will.
Yeah, good job of Prem playing nice with your lead lap cars, even though it may have hurt his race a little bit. Good on him for the good sportsman.
Can't believe we're already 24 laps into this race, starting lap 25 now for our leaders. And yet, still we have the battle for P1 totally on between Maxime Boonvich and Robert Hartley, who once again, bad traffic for him, catching Jack Mars there into turn 2. A little bit of a contact there onto the rear.
Ooh, and that lap car almost came in on Boonvich as well. So this lap traffic getting a little hairy for our lead cars.
Not really giving much room there to Maxime, and as he now also makes contact with the car of Anthony Burrows. Not the best day of Jack Myers in the back, as now Sonny Kenshin goes around him, splitting now the battle up 4v3 between Kenshin and Dalmas's Taurus. You weren't able to see it, but Xiaomi Dalmas's Taurus with a little bit of a lucky moment there, as Jack Myers went on the curb, completely lost the car. Spun to left side in front of him. He didn't have to slow down whatsoever, not even a lift on the throttle for Xiaomi Dalmas's Taurus.
We're going to jump back to around the 20th position. Got a nice little battle going on.
Yeah, between Nico Arvilomi and Stefan Gravel. Behind them, that is a lapped car of Antonio Nesperia Leish. That's even lapped for them down in 30th.
Stephen Gravel looking all over the track. He was just all over the curbs there trying to find a way around.
Let's see if he's able to do something there. Will Antonio actually do a move? Yes, he will. Goes to the inside. Remember, he was 6th place before his hardware failure. So he's trying to do something here. But that is now going to split up the battle for P20, sadly. Actually, that's for P19 now. And Antonio now makes a mistake, so Stefan Gravel is now going to... Oh, they touch! Antonio really now playing nice with these two. Damage to him, no damage to Gravel, so he was lucky in that instance.
Yeah, you gotta believe Leish kind of fighting a little bit of frustration here. He was up so far in the field running P6 before he had that incident early on, and you gotta believe a little bit of that's a little bit of frustration shining.
Up to P3 we go again, though, because Sonny Kenshin is being closed in on Taurus because he now has the car of Anthony Burrows ahead of him. Burrows playing nice though, letting all three by great awareness by him, but Taurus was able to close in on Sonny Kenshin.
Yeah, gotta love the respectfulness of our lap down cars that they're trying to have here. I know as somebody that's a very mediocre iRacer myself, the last thing I ever want to do is be the guy that takes out the leader.
As Ioannis Moumoulidis is in pit lane, he pits from, I think that was 9th place for him. Off the pit limiter he goes already. Being thrown into the racing line right in front of Paulo Coimbra.
That looked like a pretty quick stop. You think that was just fuel for Moumoulidis?
No, I saw him on the tracks for the left side. So he took left side tires. He's now in 14th position. Sorry, 14th position overall.
Sonny Kenshin in the 059 still running in P3, but he's got Torres just glued to his back bumper.
Yeah, Sonny Kenshin once again. it starts to seem like he's one of the hardest people to get by, because he started in third, he's still in third, and every single try of Xiaomi Damasus Torres just not able to do anything against the defensive powerhouse of Sonny Kenshin.
That's exactly where I was going to go with that too. You know, you see so little wasted movement from Kenshin. He doesn't push the car any more than he has to. He doesn't push the envelope with the other drivers any more than he has to. He's just keeping them honest as he ducks into pit lane. Takes out the cone.
Robert Hartley also is in pit lane, and I have to check that if that was even on pit speed. I think he just about was lucky there to keep it on the pit limiter.
So yeah, Kenshin coming in hot into the pits.
Yeah, also interesting, Robert Hartley didn't take tires, Xiaomi Damasus Torres not taking tires, Sonny Kenshin taking tires, and he has a pit lane violation of some sort, so he's still stationary.
I mean, I was following along as he came in. You can see right there, he was just clipping as he tried to duck into the pit lane, smoked the commitment cone.
My best guess here is that Sonny Kenshin had the pit entry violation because of how sideways and screwed up his car was. So probably had a yeah, it was 15 seconds, so probably had dangerous pit entrance or something like that penalty. Maxime Boonvish is our leader now because of the pits of Robert Hartley, Sonny Kenshin, Damasus Torres, and Andreas Katz. He was also in pit lane. So everyone taking the undercut there, but Maxime Boonvish just staying out, driving it to the very last drop of his car. Here he comes into pit lane now, way more subtle than Sonny Kenshin. Was perfectly on the pit speed limit there, 45 miles per hour. Where is Robert Hartley though as he pulls into his pit stall? Robert Hartley coming into turn 7 now. Very quick pit stops here, 12 seconds. Boonvish also not taking tires, so our leaders are staying on the no tire strategy, and Boonvish is gonna take over the lead. Great pit stop strategy there by Maxime to overtake Robert Hartley.
Do you think that gap that he got from over the pit cycle maybe gave him the confidence to stay on fuel only?
Well, his pit stop was about 1.1 seconds faster. Pit lane transition was, let's see, 1.4 seconds faster than Robert Hartley. So that's pretty much all the time that he had, that he right now has between himself and Robert Hartley. Once again, we will take you a little bit lower in the ranks as this battle still is on. That's between Stefan Gravel and Ashley Beard. They touched there through turn 3. Right behind him, that's Anthony Burris, trying to also make a move now on Stefan Gravel. Bit wide for Ashley Beard, missing the apex. No problem though, as he keeps it on the black stuff, and that's what important here.
Yeah, Ashley Beard doing a tremendous job even with the contact there to keep the car pointed in the right direction.
Ashley Beard staying ahead. One more time into turn 1, but we have to jump into the lead 4P1, the battle 4P1, because Robert Hartley really closed into Maxime Boonvish. So Boonvish probably struggling a little bit with his deflated tires. Still about 8 minutes to go until the checkered flag, so Robert Hartley still has about 9 or 10 laps to his avail to make a move on a Maxime Boumvish, and pretty sure that move will come sooner or later. Up the turn 5 bump they go, both cars having a little bit of an air there, but all planned so far, and no one taking an off track on turn 6, turn 7. They take a little bit to the grass there. It's actually an interesting lap because putting your two tires, your outside tires, on the grass is actually a faster line because it gives you some more rotation to your car. Into turn 1 they go. Robert Hartley stalking his prey, studying the lines of Maxime Boumvish like he was able to do for the past 30 or so laps.
You know, Hartley is impressing me very much with how well he's able to follow in the tracks and really keep Boumvish, keeping him honest.
Let's take it to the battle for P7. That's between Mark Brightman in 8th and Graham Sanders in 7th place, the number 100 versus the number 220 there. As we're looking over the back of Graham Sanders onto the car of Mark Brightman, making the road ahead of him a little bit brighter than it is. Robert Hartley is still stalking the back of Maxime Boumvish. Still hasn't found a good way to attack the lines of Maxime Boumvish to try to attack his weaknesses. Obviously also raises the question if they are too close together pace-wise to do anything.
You know, we've witnessed this 2 weeks in a row now with our lead cars just being so close together, but when you're that evenly matched, it really does make it a big challenge to actually pass for the lead. It's one thing to keep the leader in your sights, but gosh, it's got to be frustrating to be able to see him and not be able to do anything.
So let's take you back to the battle for P17. That's between Simon Eppelding and Nick Carty, the number 17 in 17th place. The blue and black car there on your screen versus the white car of Eppelding as they go through that no-name straight up to turn 5, both taking it very nicely onto the curb. And very interestingly enough, I didn't really see that one coming, but turn 5 pretty much no danger zone here whatsoever in this race so far.
So interestingly enough, with the short lap here at Lime Rock, we've already lapped up through P19. Erpelding is going to be our last car on the lead lap as he closes in on Nick Carty for that honor of being the last car running on the lead lap.
Yeah, and we have about 10 cars a lap down. Everyone down to 29th is still only one lap down. As we're on the battle now for P11 here between Stefan van Opstal and Christian Lindrod. Right in front of Stefan van Opstal, that is the car of Michael Wardman. Now sadly holding up Stefan van Opstal, he gets turned by van Opstal.
Well, and looks like that's going to break the momentum, and that's going to open up the door for Lindroth to pull alongside as they head down the straight, and that's going to cost him a position into turn 1.
That looked like some bad reading of the traffic there by Stefan van Opstal, not expecting how much slower the lapped car of Michael Wardman is going to be through turn 7. Totally clatters the rear of him and spins him out. But yet again we have to go to lead because Robert Hartley really charging now the attack onto Maxime Boumvish. Wasn't this close. Of for quite some time.
Bunovic running a slightly wider line, it seems like, and looks like that may have calmed Hartley down a little bit, but I thought for a second there Hartley was going to get his nose in on him.
Yeah, it seemed like that Robert Hartley really tried to do that. Just wasn't close enough to trigger the spot or anything else, as Bunovic really wide there. Was able to avoid the deadly slide though, so he stays in first really wide once again in turn 6. Seems like Maxime starting to feel the pressure of Robert Hartley.
Do you think it could possibly be those tires starting to give up here, as we do have closing in on just 2 minutes left as Hartley pulls to the inside down the straightaway?
Sure as well does, and that was very close. Robert Hartley having to step on the brake there not to touch the rear of Maxime Bunovic and maybe spin him around. They're coming up to a battle for P28 between two drivers, so that might hold them up depending on how friendly they are to give up, or how willing they are to give up their battle for P28. But right now they still have quite a few car lengths in between them, as you were nicely able to see the shot there.
I tell you what, Stefan, if those two did not touch, then they were definitely close enough to exchange phone numbers.
Oh yeah, that would have been a case of let me quickly polish your taillights there. As Robert Hartley very wide, that's gonna cost him a little bit of a momentum, not being able to do anything over the start-finish line here, as we will have now 2 to go. So the popsicles are in the air. And they're really closing in now on Carter Cunninger and Alaric Vandenbos.
And Hartley's just probably frothing at the mouth here, looking for the opportunity to pass Bunovic for the lead.
Really close. Carter Cunninger pulling over to the right side. Cunninger, sorry. Who is trying to say Cunninger there? Bunovic able to keep everything together through turn 5 for the second last time, turn 6 once again. Will Vandenbos let them by? Yes, he does. Brakes nicely. So they are unhindered into turn 7 and through turn 7. Both of them taking a little bit of a wider line over the curb of turn 7, and the white flag is in the air.
So it seems like Hartley is much better in the opening part of the lap than Bunovic, so if he's going to make a move, now's got to be the time. I think Bunovic has his number in the last half of the lap.
Well, let's see if you stay right or not. Robert Hartley not able to do anything through turn 3, and now through turn 4 also probably not close enough to do anything into turn 5, so no name straight, they stay single file. Hartley faster through turn 5, that's gonna cost him here a little bit. Able to avoid the wall. Turn 6 they go one more time over the curb, and the last time through the diving turn. Will Hartley be able to do something? The finish line is quite a long ways down the straight. He's closing in. Will he be close enough to the back of Maxime Bunovic to do anything? Side by side they go, and Bunovic takes it away.
So Torres is going to bring it home, the final podium spot, about 6 seconds down from your leader.
Andreas Katz finishing in 4th place. Sonny Kanchin, probably biggest loser of the pit stops, in 5th place. Ioannis Mimulidis coming home in 6th place. Right behind him though, that's Graham Sanders and Mark Brightman. P12 also is close, that is between Nico Armilovi and Christian Lindroth.
It's like Lindroth gonna have the position as they cross the line.
Yeah, and as the last cars cross the line here to finish their race at Lime Rock Park, we will quickly send you to the break, as we, the commentators, really need to take our breath here after this incredibly tight race throughout the 40 minutes that we saw. So stay with us, as interviews are coming in just a few moments. welcome back after an exciting race here at Lime Rock Park. We really needed to take that breather because it was just action non-stop, and finishing that action non-stop the fastest was most definitely Maxime Boomwish, the number 62 car, finishing or leading there ahead of Robert Hartley. As I just tripped up my director there, as it seems. I'm sorry about that. But Xiaomi Damas's Taurus finished in 3rd place ahead of Andreas Katz. Sonny Kenshin in 5th place. Ionis Mumuludis in 6th place. The number 100 of Graham Sanders finished in 7th place. Mark Brightman in 8th. David Hams 9th place. And Steven van Opstal, a very disappointing 10th place for him today.
As we transition over to the second page of our finishers, we have Christian Lindroth in P11 with Nico Arvelomi coming home in 12th. Lucky number 13 today was Stefan Gravel with Anthony Burrows and Ashley Beard completing the points main positions. Nick Carty was 16th. Simon Erpelding was our last driver on the lead lap with Adam Mariak and James McRitchie next up, and series director Cliff Eben completes the top 20.
21st finishes Peter Vostrel ahead of Angelo Carlos. Rui Coimbra finished in the 23rd. Antonio Nespera Leish, after hardware problems, finishes in 24th. Jolly Fike down in 25th. Chablos Rem in 26th. Paulo Coimbra in 27th. Hade Cunninger finishes in 28th. First car 2 laps down. Alaric Van den Bos 29th, and Alex Hunt running out your top 30.
31st place belongs to the 419 of Michael Wortman with Cesar Carboni in the 32nd position. Double threes go to Jack Myers with Carter Hampton in the 34th position. 34th was Victor Tanaka with Richard Schaffner, Jay Buge, Tom Athen, and Stephen York in 39th, and Jerry Daniels rounding out the top.
The last cars who took the green flag are Daniel Pinetta in 41st, John Watson 42nd, and Casey Drake in 43rd, 44th, and 45th. Not taking the green flag are Colin Scott and Justin L. Johnson. And as you might have already realized, we're well within the Long Road Racing post-race show. Once again, sorry I tripped up my own director there. As Mazda's technical business partner, Long Road Racing is the exclusive builder of the real-life global MX-5 Cup car. Whether you race, drive enthusiastically, or just get excited about cars, Long Road Racing offers personally engineered vehicles and proven performance solutions for you. Find out how they can help you by visiting www.longroadracing.com. And yeah, the first to speak to us in the post-race interviews, sorry, hit my microphone there, is Robert Hartley, 2nd place. And Robert, awesome race there by you. Just what happened at the pit stop? You were quite a bit slower than Maxime.
Yeah, I think he had a little quicker pit. Might have been saving some fuel behind me there. It was very close.
Yeah, it was very close between you throughout the full race, and you were able to kind of, I don't know, were you able to save tires in front, or were you always going flat out?
It was flat out from the green. I was wide open as fast as I could go. The lap cars kind of helped us break away there, but 40 laps around here is just tough.
Yeah, 0.082 seconds between you two at the very end after 40 laps. After 40 minutes, way more laps than that in the race. Actually, 42 laps in the race. Was taking tires ever an option for you?
I wanted to get in and out as quick as possible, and if you take 2, it takes a little more time, so I decided not to take tires. But me and Max actually both ran out of fuel coming out the last corner. He ran out a tad bit before I did, and we crossed the line side by side out of fuel.
All right, that explains why you both were slower down the front straight than we ever saw before. Now, I'm going to leave you with this question. Coming up is now Road America. How are you preparing for that one?
Road America is a big draft fest, so I mean, you got to capitalize on other people's mistakes and not make any on your own, and be there at the end.
Well, be there at the end. You were here at Lime Rock Park, just not able to be there quite enough. Thanks for talking to us, Robert, and once again, congrats on a very exciting race there to the very last drop of fuel. And next up will be Chris Fobby talking to Ioannis Mimouloudis.
Well, Ioannis, I know you had it seemed like a relatively quiet race compared to what we saw last week, but tell us about your trip around the track.
Lots of right-hander corners, very fast, and lots of traffic. So I was actually sitting behind. I was sitting in fifth with Sonny behind me, but in the 37th lap, I actually got spun around by a back marker, so I lost my position. I think I underfueled a little bit, so the car was stuttering a bit. The last corner, I think that was one of the most common issue actually here with drivers, them running out of fuel in the last lap.
All right, now you said that fuel was an issue. How do you guys calculate how much you think you're going to have to run? Do you think it was just a matter of bad math across the board, or just over or underestimated how much fuel you're going to be?
Oh, for me, definitely. I calculated a lap as 1 minute, so one lap pretty much for 1 minute. There was 14 minutes, I think, left on the race, and I put in 16 laps. So just about 1.8, 1.7 gallons. And obviously the laps here are not 1 minute, they're 57 seconds. So these are precious seconds, and the car actually starts sputtering with about 0.4 laps still in the tank. So yeah, definitely that last corner. The second you go down, your car will start cutting out, and that's terrible.
All right, now next week we have a track that's vastly different to this one. How do you prepare yourself going from a quick short track like this to such a long course?
Thankfully for long draft tracks, there's much you can prepare. Usually it's reliant on the person in front and behind you, or in the pack you race. I think Road America is going to be a beautiful track to accommodate 60 cars, much more than Lime Rock Park was. But even this week, I really enjoyed the race.
Very cool. Well, we appreciate you joining us here and talking about your ride, and best of luck next weekend.
Thank you very much.
Well, a race like this just always makes you want to have the next week's track, Road America, come way closer than it is already away. But before we go, we have to thank everyone on the track today for a great show, and especially Clifford Eben for organizing this league and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Right now on your screen you can see all of the companies that provide us with the great hard and software GSRC uses to deliver you the best show possible. Additional thanks goes to June Lalone, who provides us with her great masterpieces. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. Big C's MX-5 Challenge will return in 1 week's time for round 3 from Road America. iRacing and GSRC will be there. We hope you'll be too. Next up on GSRC will be the coverage of Autobahn Sports Car Challenge. Coverage will air tomorrow at 9:15 p.m. Eastern over at the iRacing Esports Network. If you'd like to find more... Oh, I'm sorry, actually, Autobahn is not on next night. I'm very sorry about one. It's actually PRL, as you can see right now on your screen. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, please do visit us at globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also find us on the social media platforms, Twitter with @GSRChannel, Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel, or on Instagram at GSR_RAM. All of the upcoming races for our other series are right now sliding across your screen, so do check them out and mark them down in your calendar to not miss another segment of exciting racing action. If you haven't done so, become a YouTube subscriber by hitting that red subscribe button just below this broadcast. Maybe even hit that bell to get notified when we next go live with more exciting racing. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, Sean, Chris, Dougie, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in as Maxime Bunbish took away the victory under the darkening sky of Lime Rock Park. With that said, until next time, Servus and sayonara, as always, race hard, race clean, and we'll see you on the track.